Hey folks, welcome to another review with yours truly, Sam Healy. Today we're taking a look at Stonespine Architects. Now, a couple caveats here. This is a prototype copy that was given to me for review by Thunderworks Games at Origins. So do take that under consideration as we go through the video. These are all prototype components. So what you're going to be seeing in the actual production copy may differ slightly from what you're seeing here, but I just wanted to mention that on the front end. Let's get down to the table with that caveat in mind and see how it works. So here I have a 3-player game of Stonespine Architects set up for you, and the rulebook does a very good job of clearly delineating how to set up the game for each of the different player counts. So I'm not going to spend time going over all of the details about how to set up the game. Just realize that the rulebook does a specific and very good job of delineating all that for you. Each person is given a hand of 5 cards, chamber cards, to start with, and each chamber card has a bunch of different things on it. So first of all, it has the orientation of the chamber itself. This one specifically has a door and a path leading into the chamber, and then it has some reputation stars, and then at the bottom, it also has a number of gold that it's going to afford you at the end of the first year that you're going to use to go into the marketplace and buy items. There is also 2 different kinds of chambers. There are cave chambers, which have this brown symbol up here in the upper corner. And then you also have stone chambers, which look like this and have a gray symbol up here in the upper corner. Each chamber is going to have spaces to hold 4 different elements. And some are already printed in the chamber for you. So this particular chamber has spots for 2 improvements to be added to it if you would like. So that's the basic idea of how these different chambers will work. They all have different path configurations with doors leading in and leading out. And it is advantageous to try and make those entrances and exits match as you build your dungeon, but you don't have to, because there are some secret passages that will show up in the marketplace from time to time that will help you make those connections. But it is worthy to note that all of the chambers that are in your dungeon will gain 1 point for being connected to your exit per chamber that you can connect to your exit, and they'll also be getting 1 point for each of the chambers that are connected to your exit at the end of the game. So paying attention to try and get all of those things connected will reward you with points at the end of the game, but you don't have to. So a game of Stonespine Architects is played in 4 years, or you could call them rounds, but they're actually years. And each year has 3 different phases in it. The first phase is the construction phase, where you're going to be taking chamber cards and laying them down in your first year, second year, and third year, fourth year rows in your dungeon. The second phase is the improvement phase, where players will be able to take the gold they earned from that year and purchase improvements to add into their dungeon in the marketplace. And then there's a cleanup phase, where we basically will refresh the market. We will make sure that the priority track is in order. We'll also be refilling the challenge cards over here for the next year, and so forth and so on, getting ready to go into the next year of play. And that's how the game continues over 4 years. And at the end of that 4th year, we'll calculate to see how much points each person has. The person with the most points will be the winner. So we'll go through 1 year of play, and we'll make some editing choices here and make sure that it doesn't take too much time. But the first thing that happens in your construction phase is that everybody will choose 1 card from their hand and play it into their year 1 row of their dungeon. And then in the first year, we'll pass to the left. And then once everyone has made their decision on what chamber they're going to add into their first row, then we make those passes. This one will come over here, these guys will come over here, and these guys will come over here. And now we choose, based on our new hand of cards, another chamber to add into our row. And now that we've made our second chamber decision, we have passed our cards around, and now we choose another one. And now we can make our fourth and final decision for what chamber we're going to put in our first year of the dungeon. And then once we've made our final decision for which chamber we're going to put in our year, the last 3 cards are going to be discarded. And then we're going to move into determining how much gold we've got and determining who is going to go into the market first. So if I look over here, I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I look to see if I have any treasure chests, which I don't. That'll add to it. So I have 10 gold that's available to me in the first year. We look down here, and yellow has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they don't have any treasure chests either. So they started the game with 1 gold, however, so they're going to go up to 10 as well. 9 plus the 1 is 10. Over here, red player has 2, 4, plus 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9, but they also have 2 treasure chests, so that's 11, plus the 1 that they started, and that goes up to 12. So, red player is going to have the opportunity to go into the market or pass first. So red looks at what he has been able to accomplish so far. He got his stone chamber over here for his blueprint, and he also got a ooze over here that he needed for this blueprint as well. So far, he's doing pretty good on his elements that he has control over. But there may be some things here that he wants to get to help score more points based on the challenge cards that are over here. Or maybe not. It just depends on what he would like. Here, the public goal card is showing us that whoever has the most oozes and slimes at the end of the game, in pairs, that is, will get a certain number of points at the end of the game. So maybe he wants to work towards that. Who knows? Maybe it is that he doesn't want any of these things. They are not fitting into his strategy, but maybe one of these cards is something that he might want to go for. So let's just say that red will pass. When he does so, he goes back down to 0 because no money will carry over into the next round. And then his marker down here will come into the first priority. Priority is used to break ties if there are ties like this one right here. So when he passes, he'll have first choice, and he's going to take the Gold Fiends, which basically gives you 3 reputation for each pair of goblin and treasure chest icons in your dungeon at the end of the game. So he already has 2 treasure chests over here. He just needs to focus on getting some more goblins, and he should be good to go for that, scoring at the end of the game. So because yellow and green have the same amount of gold, we go down to the priority track to see which one goes to the market or has the opportunity to pass first next. So green has the priority, so they will be able to take their turn first. I'm going to go ahead and spend 7 gold, and that will take me down to 3. And I'm going to go ahead and purchase these 2 tokens right here. These have to immediately go into my dungeon. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 right here. And then we're going to put this trap here right over here. Now it's yellow's turn to be able to go through and do some visiting to the market. And they were able to get a stone where they needed one, but they weren't able to get a reputation star over here in this chamber. There was a reputation star here, but I took it maybe because I didn't want him to get it, because that is some points that he'll lose at the end of the game if he's not able to fill that element. He does have a good number of knolls that are here with 1 and 2, so maybe he wants to pay 4, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and take this knoll and add it to his dungeon somewhere, something to that effect. And now, he still has more gold than I do, so he would now have the chance to either buy more or pass to be able to take one of these chamber cards. So he's going to go ahead and pass, which will put him second in priority for next round. and then he's going to be able to choose one of these cards here. And I think what we'll do is we'll go for this consistent sanctum, where we're trying to gain 2 reputation for each chamber in the largest cluster of chambers in your dungeon. So that'll be something that goes right down there. It comes back to me since I'm the only person left. I don't have enough money to do any of this, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass as well. And that puts me in last place for priority. And I'll choose this one, which says Market Maven. I get to gain 2 reputation for each unique market token in your dungeon here. So that will come right over here. And that will be the end of the improvement phase. In the cleanup phase, we'll go ahead and just take these 2 and set them off to the side as they are done away with. These 2 cards are discarded as well and put off to the side. 2 new market cards come out, and they are also filled for each of their slots. The size of the token goes into the different silhouette that's there. And then once those are full, we come over here and the challenge card is discarded, and 4 new, in a 3-player game, 4 new cards come out. 5 new cards are given to each of the different players. And then once each player has their new hand of 5 cards, you continue on to the second year in the same fashion that the first year was played in. And you follow that until the end of the 4th year. Now, there's one caveat. At the end of the 3rd year, the challenge cards are not replaced because you don't draw another challenge card at the end of the 4th year, which basically just gives you more time to work on the 3 challenge cards you were able to get in the 3rd year to try to maximize those points. Then, after the end of the 4th year, you'll go on to final scoring. And that's about that for Stonespine Architects. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised by this. Now, I don't say that to mean that I was thinking that this wasn't going to be a good game. I was just very pleasantly surprised with it because it's a game that I really kind of found an affinity for very early on in my experience. First of all, I love spatial organization games, and I like it when I have to try to fit things into a specific pattern or into a specific row. So the blueprint cards really hit home with me. I love this mechanism because this is something that I can really kind of sink my teeth into, and it gives me focus. It gives me a vector that I can try to accomplish during the course of the game, and I love it when games do that. I don't mind having to kind of think my way through and kind of think on my feet and do all of that kind of stuff. But if I can just kind of hunker down and go after a specific objective that only I'm trying to go after, sure, it might be visible to everybody else, but if I have that focus, it lets me enjoy the game a little bit more. So I really was interested in that spatial organization part of the game at the very beginning. Everything else just kind of came together, if that makes sense, from that point on. My final thoughts section is where I'm going to share the pros of the game from my point of view so that hopefully you as the viewer can listen to those and get a better understanding of whether or not you'll like the game. So with that being said, my first pro is going to be just what I kind of already said. I love the spatial organization aspect of this game. And if that were the only thing, I probably would like the game. But because it isn't the only thing of the game, I'm able to really like the game. So I'm doing a little bit of overshadowing there. But the spatial organization of this really just with a little bit of a twist, because you only can see your dungeon form from year to year. And with that being said, maybe you as a spatial organizational fan, maybe that will drive you a little bit crazy because you're not able to see how everything is going to fit together when you're putting some of those elements into place. But for me, that just made the game really exciting and it made it more challenging in that respect. If you can get all of your chambers connected to both your entrance and to your exit, that's a whopping 32 points at the end of the game, which could really make or break you. So you don't have to have all of your chambers connected, but if you do, it can really help you down that path to victory. That added to this blueprint card, and the fact that accomplishing those elements of the blueprint also give you points at the end of the game, the combination of just those two scoring patterns is 52 points. 20 points for your blueprint and up to 32 points for making sure that your chambers are connected to your entrance and to your exit. So the spatial organization aspect of this really just made it sing for me. My second pro of the game is the point salad aspect of the game. Now, it's not really point salad. There isn't a whole lot of ways to get points in this, but there are a good number of ways to get points. You're getting points from the reputation stars in your chamber. You're getting points for getting pairs of different kinds of chamber elements from the goal cards. You're getting points from where your priority ends at the end of the game. You're getting points from the public goal card that's there at the beginning of the game that everybody can see and try to work towards. You're getting points from connecting your chambers to your entrance and your exit. You're getting points from your blueprint. So there is a little bit of that point salad thing going to, but it's not overwhelmingly so diverse to where you don't know exactly how what you should do. You don't know exactly what's the best way to score points. There's none of that. It seems that most of the ways that you can get points here are balanced to where you don't have to do everything. You just have to be good at what you picked to do. And I really enjoy that. My third pro was the priority and passing mechanism of the game, because at first it didn't really make sense to me. I knew that priority track was mainly used for breaking ties between who would be able to go into the market and who wouldn't. Who would be able to go into the market first and who would have to wait and all of that kind of thing. And I got that, but I didn't really it didn't really light on me exactly how important that was. And how important, to me at least, of a balancing factor it was. Because, sure, if you're higher up here, you have the ability to go into the market first, which is really enticing because a lot of these tokens can give you a lot of different things and give you, kind of broaden your horizon on being able to score different kinds of points. But passing first gives you first choice on the challenges. So you really have to weigh, do I really want some of those tokens, and do I really need some of those tokens to add them into my my dungeon, or would it be better for me to pass first and be able to take one of these challenge cards to score more points later on in the game? But it's not that simple. Most of the challenge cards are going to be basing their points off of the different kinds of tokens and the different kinds of printed elements that are already on your chamber cards. So there's a really interesting tension to making those decisions during the improvement phase that I really enjoyed as time went on, and I being able to understand the nuance of it a little bit better. My fourth pro of the game is that I really do believe that this game offers its players the same experience across all, well, most, if not all, of its player counts. It goes from solo mode all the way up to 5 players, and I don't believe that any of those modes will carry with it a vast difference from any of the others. And that's kind of a unique thing, because usually when you play a game at its maximum player count, all you're really doing is adding the amount of time that you're sinking into the game. But because things are being done generally simultaneously, especially in the construction phase where you're all picking the card and placing it down and then drafting, that really speeds up time. And so the amount of time that you spend playing the game between the different player accounts doesn't really change a lot. Now, of course, you're going to have people that take longer to make decisions and so forth, but from a design point of view, I think it's unique in that the number of players doesn't change how long the game is going to play that much. Additionally, I'm not a huge solo gamer. I did play this solo, and I was really struck by how similar the solo experience was to the multiplayer experience. They were very similar, and I really enjoyed that. All of the different player counts will generally carry a very similar experience, and I think that's really cool. Now, as I stated before, I'm not really going to spend any time talking about the components because this is a prototype copy. However, I will say that these are really nice components for a prototype. I've had a lot of really chintzy prototypes in the past, and this one just wasn't there. We had a lot of enjoyment come out of playing this prototype, so they're only going to get better. So I don't think you have anything to worry about on that, right? But that's all I'm going to say about the components because these are prototypes. But all in all, my rating of this game is going to be 2 thumbs way up. And to back that up a little bit, I've already backed the game on Kickstarter, and I would encourage you to do the same. I'm not being paid to say that. This was a review copy that was just given to me at the at Origins Game Fair, so I'm not being paid. This isn't a paid promotion or anything like that. This is just a review, and I talked to the people at Thunderworks, and I said, hey, why don't we just treat this as a review copy, and I'll just play it and treat it as a regular review copy, no strings attached. And they said they were fine with that, with the caveat being that I mentioned it's a prototype copy. But I've already backed the game. My buddy JT has already backed the game. So we really have enjoyed this game, and we would say that if anything here gives you any interest whatsoever, go check out Thunderworks Kickstarter project. It's still going right now. They've already funded. It's going to be made. But I think they'd appreciate you checking that out if it's interesting you at all. For me, it's 2 thumbs up. I can't wait for my production copy to come in. And my plushie. I got the plushie because I wanted to. So anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.